Malayalam cinema has boasted of one of the best directors Indian cinema has produced. P. Padmarajan, Bharathan, K.G. George, Adur Gopalakrishnan, and even like through the late 80s, we had Satyanandikad, we had Srinivasan, Priyadarshan. Over the years, they have grown as filmmakers as well, but since 2000s and 2010s, we've had this new crop of filmmakers who are heavily inspired by these directors from the 80s and the 90s, and hence we are coming to the topic of the episode. What are the current lot of directors that we love?
One director who I am so interested right now. I really like the way he's going about his thing. I hope I'm getting his name right. Dinjith Ayyathan. Most people would know him from being the director of amazing movies Kishkindha Kaandam and Echo. Fun fact, his first movie was Kakshi Amminippilla. Kakshi Amminippilla is like a very regular, normal like kind of a movie. ആ ഒരു പടത്തിൽ നിന്ന് കിഷ്കിന്ധ കാണ്ഡം വന്നപ്പോൾ like that whole shift, the way he approached, then the way he made it. Now, then I saw Echo. Honestly, I would put Echo above Kishkindha Kaandam.
I would disagree, but yeah, go on.
Echo was a movie when I saw climax അങ്ങോട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ, dude, I was literally clapping. Movies don't make me feel like that so much nowadays. That movie was brilliant. Kishkindha Kaandam is brilliant, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying Echo went a bit more ahead for me.
എന്നെ എന്തേലും ചെയ്യാനുണ്ടോ ഉള്ളില്?
കാരണം ഉണ്ടാവുന്നവരെ ആവശ്യമില്ല.
കാരണം ഉണ്ടായ
How he presents these suspense, sort of this unraveling movies, it's like onion peel. You're taking one off, you're getting layers, you're getting story, then you're getting some depth. So that is really good how he does. He followed that with Kishkindha Kaandam also. I like how he does that. Also, it's like you mentioned earlier, Vineet in Echo, like he got that performance out of him, because you don't associate Vineet like that, and that is one thing which, by the way, I like, at least among the newer filmmakers, is they're taking all these actors who have the certain image in our head, and then the current directors, writers, they just break it and they mold them out in a different way. And so it's so nice to see like, ഇവർക്കൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെയും കഴിവുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലേ. So yeah, Dinjith Ayyathan, I feel like he can really, push, can keep going ahead. And also I like suspense അല്ലെങ്കിൽ thriller. It's not in that case അന്വേഷിക്കുക, police procedure, ആ ഒരു ഇതിലില്ലാതെ he's able to set it up in a different scenario and in a different surrounding and environment. That is actually a very good.
Like he does it very slowly and not in a very obvious manner. Honestly, when I saw Kishkindha Kaandam, it literally reminded me of Prestige, because our style lana adu Unda. Like I could see that Prestige, Christopher Nolan influence, because my number one Christopher Nolan movie is Prestige, because the way the plot comes out in the screenplay, that is exactly what I saw in Kishkindha Kaandam. And what I liked about that, he didn't try to mimic Nolan, but he brought his own style to it, which is a good thing. He did a good job.
That whole climax scene with that huge operatic cinematic music and that ending
Very handsome, but yeah, it was good.
He did that with Kishkindha Kaandam also. He did that with Echo also. And honestly, look, that I feel like it's not bad, because if you do it well enough, it works. And it's amazing way to like end a movie. And Nolan has done that many times. So, and he's done it brilliantly also enough number of times.
That soundtrack in the end literally reminded me of Time from Inception, because it just, the way it ends and that rousingness and how it hits on you like, whoa. And even the ending was very similar to Inception. It's like, you want to believe it or you don't want to believe it. Like, did he see his children or did he not see his children? What the story that was told to us, like, we don't know what happened. My first pick is Khalid Rahman, because I feel Khalid Rahman as a director has delved into different genres, and he has kind of aced it as well. If you look at his first movie, which is Anuraga Karikin Vellam, that's a easy breezy romance, but that romance has such a fresh take to it, and how he portrayed a lover's spat happens and what kind of conversation they have, and then how different the romance is between like someone of her parents' age, and that he did so well in Anuraga Karikin Vellam. And then came Unda. I remember thinking maybe this is directed by someone very matured, because the whole writing, direction, and getting that performance out of Mammootty, which is so restrained, because that is a movie where I saw literally restrained Mammootty who's trying to be the nice person there but not being that hero guy. And I was surprised to know that it is a guy like Khalid Rahman. He made Unda, and it was so brilliant in my opinion. And then came his movie Love, but Love was a very small budget. I think it came during COVID. That movie also showed how, as a director, he centered the whole movie in one location, which is an apartment, which was not explored much before. And even though I have issues with that movie, it was like a brave attempt in my opinion. So he's covered romance, he's covered this cop drama, he's now covered love gone wrong sort of genre, which is like a realistic portrayal of what happens to relationship when it goes really sour, right? So these are three genres he covered. And then comes to Thallumaala, which is completely done to appease this young, early 20s, late teens and all that, but he did it so well. If you look at the screenplay of Thallumaala, it goes back and forth, and it really, as an audience, it literally makes you want to think and connect the dots. It's not spoon feeding you. When he talks about what happens to Tovino's character before he was supposed to meet Kalyani Priyadarshan for like some video collaboration, and that connecting the dots, we have to do it like as an audience. It's like he didn't spoon feed it. I'm guessing the screenplay was also like that, but to be able to execute what he did in Thallumaala with that editing, with that performances, with that song choices, with that casting, Thallumaala just blew my mind. I remember watching it on the big screen and I have not regretted it. Yeah, he's covered this rom-com sort of thing, because it's a rom-com if you think about it. Thallumaala is like an action/rom-com, so he's covered that also. And last is a sports drama. Alpura Gymkhana, I liked how he did like a realistic portrayal of boxing local level, which is very, very realistic in my opinion. I had issue with that movie in the first half. I'm talking about the screenplay part. I'm not talking about the direction part. Direction was pretty good. Especially in the second half, the movie just took off so well. It just went high and it just went high. Like, it didn't feel like there was a drop. So I feel Khalid Rahman is one director who has covered all these genres and he's done it pretty well. So whenever I see his name, he's about to do a next movie, I am going for this movie. If you look at Thallumaala as a screenplay, it could have gone haywire very quickly because the screenplay is written as such. But Khalid Rahman brought that sort of control in his direction so that the film just doesn't go haywire, because there's going to be a big fight in the end because it is shown in the beginning, but the whole build-up was so amazing. I still want to know what happened. He had this complete control over how it has to be, how the screenplay is. Otherwise, that movie would have been complete haywire if it had gotten out of control.
My next one. This guy has gone quiet now. For a while, I have not heard much, but Girish AD. He is probably now one of those directors who handles humor very well. Not just humor, he knows how to handle stories with regular everyday people. His first movie, Thanneer Mathan Dinangal, they were discussing about high school. 12th class, romance, then he comes to Super Sharanya.
I actually liked that movie.
I actually loved how they just showed like these 3-4 girls in college, our college life, their hostel life, our first year, second year, our time, our experiences, what they are going through, that whole dynamics between those 4 girls. Honestly, it felt so nice, so relatable.
Also, I liked how that movie mimicked Arjun Reddy, and then that one scene from CIA, there is a scene, right, where Dulquer stops a girl getting from that a protest.
That's not CIA, that is Neelagasham Pachakadal Chamannabu.
Oh, sorry, not CIA, Neelagasham. I think, in my opinion, Premalu has had like quite the pop culture impact.
Premalu, yeah, sure. Again, like a simple love story. A regular one guy is there, and the girl is there. She's come to work. She's having her life. Again, Premalu is that story. College kainyu. you're at the starting phases of your beginning your work life, your career and all that. ആ ഒരു phase കാണിക്കുന്നു.
Yeah, and also he's doing age appropriate casting.
I like how he approaches all these things. He did one movie, I Am Kadalan, another movie which I liked, and one thing which I like about him, I'm not trying to be controversial or anything, he actually writes interesting female characters.
You mean memorable?
Interesting, memorable, however you want to put it, right? Because he just writes about regular girls and women, their regular life. അവരൊരു നോർമൽ ഒരു ഡേ ടു ഡേ അവരുടെ ലൈഫ് എങ്ങനെ പോകുന്നു, അവരുടെ സ്ട്രഗിൾസ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒക്കെയാണ്. ആൻഡ് സി ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വൺ ഓഫ് ദ റീസൺ വൈ ഐ ലൈക്ക് സൂപ്പർ ശരണി ഓൾസോ സോ മച്ച്. ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് 4 പെൺകുട്ടികൾ, അവരുടെ കോളേജ് ഹോസ്റ്റൽ ലൈഫ്, അവരൊരു ഡൈനാമിക്സ്, ഹൗ ദേ ആർ ഡീലിംഗ് വിത്ത് ദറ്റ് ന്യൂ ഫൗണ്ട് സോർട്ട് ഓഫ് ദറ്റ് ഫ്രീഡം ഇൻ കോളേജ്. പിന്നെ interacting amongst themselves, interacting with seniors, interacting with boys, and they are exploring and finding out about these people they are friends with. അപ്പോൾ അതൊക്കെ ഒരു നല്ല രസം. സോ ഐ ഫീൽ ലൈക്ക് he does that. Even in Premalu he did that. Reenu's character, right? ഒരു normal ഒരു girl, she is also coming up, starting her career and all that. I like how he wrote her like that.
Dude, I love that scene where he proposes to Reenu, right? In that place where she's making the CV. And I like how the character, how they did not shame her character or, you know, judge her. Because she says, no, like, oh, nee propose ചെയ്താണ് ഞാൻ കേട്ടെ. ആൻഡ് ലൈക്ക് കേട്ടിട്ട് എന്ത് തോന്നി. അപ്പോ ഷീ ലൈക്ക് എനിക്ക് കിട്ടത് ഭയങ്കര വേഴ്സ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് പ്രപ്പോസൽ ആണെന്ന്. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്, ഓ അപ്പൊ നിനക്ക് പ്രപ്പോസൽസ് എല്ലാം കിട്ടാറുണ്ടല്ലേ, ലൈക്ക് ഇൻ എ വെരി ലൈക്ക് ജഡ്ജി, യു നോ, ട്രൈങ് ടു ലൈക്ക് ലിറ്റിൽ ബിറ്റ് ഷെയിം ഹർ. ബട്ട് ഷീ ലൈക്ക് എന്തേ എനിക്ക് കിട്ടും, ലൈക്ക് हाँ like मेरे को proposal मिलता है, so what, like what do you think, like you think I'm some like dude, like they didn't shame her, you know, she stood up to herself, and that's such a good way to, you know, express her self-worth without being preachy.
എനിക്ക് കിട്ടാവുന്നതിൽ വെച്ച് ഏറ്റവും വേർസ്റ്റ് പ്രപ്പോസൽ ആണെന്ന് തോന്നി. എനിക്കെന്നല്ല, ഏതൊരു പെണ്ണിനും
ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് പ്രപ്പോസൽസ് ഒക്കെ കിട്ടാറുണ്ട്. അപ്പോ
ഉണ്ട്, കിട്ടാണ്ടിരിക്കാൻ മാത്രം മോശമാണോ ഞാൻ?
So yeah, he's one director I feel, you know, more and more interesting movies will come out of him, and he's a unique director in that genre. Like I don't see anyone else currently occupying that space which he is doing.
So my next pick is a director who went from 0 to 100 in like no time. So the director I'm talking about is Jofin T. Chacko. We spoke about one of his movies in one of our previous episodes, which is The Priest, and I did not like that movie at all. That movie was gimmicky. It was just plain bad.
I think no one liked it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, nobody liked that movie, and obviously that's not one of Mammutti's best roles as well. But Priest happened in 2021, and then straight to 2025, he gave us this wonderful movie called Rekhachithram, and easily one of the best movies of last year. I saw it twice in theater because I remember both the time I was so surprised the way the ending happened, and centering the movie around a real movie from the 80s, which is Kadur, and then using that and adding fictional story around it. It's just one layer after another, and then just taking us to another direction to find out what exactly happened. Basically, Rekhachithram is a story of a murder mystery, and the police officers end up trying to research the shoot of an old movie, and how that leads to a lot of revelation. But the biggest takeaway of the movie is Jofin T. Chacko's direction, because again, that screenplay is very layered, and you need to have a good director to be able to execute a very layered screenplay like that. Like I spoke about Thallumaala, like if the director is not in control of a screenplay that complex, it just goes out of hand in no time. But the way everything is established, Rekhachithram's editing is one of the best editing I've seen. It feels a little bit over the top at some points, like very 1 or 2 points, but overall Rekhachithram is like an ode to film lovers as well, because there are so many of these amazing cameos by real life actors, and I can't believe they wrote in those characters so beautifully in the movie without making no noise about it, and then one big voice cameo as well in the end. But again, Rekhachithram is one of those amazing investigative drama that left with a lot in my mind and in my body. I'm like, wow.
I actually have gone back and watched it a few times.
Me too. Especially the ending. I love the ending of that movie. I loved it.
First of all, it has that slow burn quality. That is the reason why I like Anyeshapin Kandathum. Next thing is, for a change in an investigative movie, the lead character, they don't have any sort of issues in their own life.
That baggage is not a subplot.
Not all police officers are like suffering trauma and mental issues and all. Like some of them are regular people and they can do their things. The biggest takeaway with Jofin T. Chacko is this: you cannot judge a director with one bad movie or one good movie and all. Like imagine where he started with Priest and then he just shot up straight to Rekhachithram.
It was one of the biggest hits of last year.
Yeah, if somebody does one bad movie, I don't feel like that's the end of it. Same way, if you do one good movie, that doesn't automatically make you like, oh yeah, you're like sure shot. No.
And like on a side note, people listening to this episode, do watch Rekhachithram. I have to tell you, it's one of the best movies of 2025.